You may have this notion that reading music is hard, that it takes years to learn, and that maybe it's even too late. In this video, I'm going to show you that reading music is actually quite easy, and my aim is that by the end of the video, you will be convinced that reading music is easy and that you too can learn to read music no matter what stage you're at or how old you are. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Manu from Piano Sight Reading, where I give sight reading tips to piano players. Now, to prove to you that reading music is easy, let's go through a little exercise. I would like you to think of music as a language, but the only difference is that instead of having letters and punctuation, you have notes and symbols. Now, just for a moment, see if you can think of a language that you would consider hard to learn. Once you've thought of this language, what is it about this language you find difficult? Would it be the grammar, the pronunciation, maybe the spelling? It could be any of those things, right? But most likely what is hard about the grammar, the pronunciation or the spelling is actually the inconsistencies, that is, the exceptions to the rules, because you know that there are grammar rules, pronunciation rules, spelling rules, but there are usually lots of exceptions as well. And the more exceptions you have, the more difficult it becomes to remember these. Take English, for example. You might find it easy to learn because it's your first language, but imagine for a moment that you don't know a word of English and you have to learn how to read English. Is it fair to say that you would find it hard to know how to pronounce words? For example, this combination of letters. Now, how would you know when these letters are pronounced oo, as in through, or when they are pronounced off, as in enough? Or what about these letters? Why is it pronounced dear but bear? I could list many examples of this, but this is just to show how inconsistent the English language is, and it's very difficult for someone to learn as a second language. Now let's take music in comparison. For example, note values. You will always have these note values. And a crotchet will always be half a minim, a quaver will always be half a crotchet, and a dot next to a note will always add half of the value of the note. So it's very consistent. There are no exceptions to the rule. And 4/4 will always be 4 crotchet beats in a bar. Now this note in the treble clef will always be an E, and in the bass clef, this note will always be a G. Same with music symbols. This symbol here is a pause, and always will be. A P will always be soft, and an F will always be loud, and so on. So do you see how consistent music is? Do you see how there are no exceptions to the rule? This means you only need to remember the rules, and rules that are logical and consistent. And this is why music is by far the easiest language to learn. It only seems difficult to learn when we think of the large number of notes to remember, or that we have 2 different clefs. But even then, there is a logic. The note before E will always be a D, and the note after F will always be a G. So it's just a matter of remembering the rules and knowing which notes are where on the staff. And at the piano, knowing even just the notes from bass C to treble C is enough to enable you to read pieces that are beginner to early intermediate level. And that's just 15 notes, which is less than the letters of the alphabet. So it's pretty doable. And same with note values. To get you started, you only really need to know the semi-breve, the dotted minim, the crotchet, and the quaver. That will already get you quite far. So that's only 5 note values. So the bottom line is, to learn to read music, you need to understand the rules and the logic, and then just do lots of drills to remember your notes, just like you did when you learned the letters of the alphabet. And if you do want to drill your notes in the treble and bass, have a look at the videos in the cards. So let me know in the comments if you now believe that music is indeed an easy language to learn. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please like it and share it with your fellow musicians. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Happy sight reading!